What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of the Pique Perspectives Podcast, episode 8, and today we have a very special guest. Name goes by Cora. I know of Cora from ODU. We both went to ODU a couple years ago. Today we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into you, what you do, your upbringing, and everything that makes you you.
Yay.
So, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited. I want to say thank you for having me. This is like the most exciting thing I've had in a week. So
Yeah, no, 100%. Kind of how this all came about. So, like I said, I went to school with Cora. We ran into each other at the Shack. Shout out the Shack. Probably like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, we were just talking about the podcast, talking a little bit about what I do, and what she does. So now I just wanted to just dive a little bit deeper into what makes you you. So. Yeah, where are you from? Because
all about me.
Yeah, all about you. Yeah, break it down. Let's rock.
Break it down. Okay, so I was born in Roanoke, raised in Powhatan, outside of Richmond. And if anybody knows a little bit about Powhatan, it's a little bit out there, but not too, not too country or whatnot. But it kind of gives you a sense of things that normally, like here in the city or suburbia, everything needs to be rushed. And so growing up with just a little bit of this, ease to things, it's okay to be a little slower. That was nice. I was surrounded by a huge family. And I credit a lot of my success to them, especially the strong, successful female role models I had. Like everywhere I looked, there was someone I could look up to for something. So that's definitely where I get most of my strength and qualities that I have and that I love by myself. And then I danced for 15 years, so I think that's where I pull a lot of my creativity from. And then I was in a gifted program in high school, ACA. So I graduated with Associates in Social Science. And I came to ODU, and I graduated 2 years in a semester, 2.5 years, however you want to look at it, with a bachelor's in business administration. While I was in college, I did an internship. And it just kind of worked out that I fell in love with the company, and they fell in love with me, and they needed some help, so I stayed on and I worked part-time while I was in school. And then I was kind of outside of school doing marketing coordinator. I did some digital branding, and then I just decided one day, I was like, I need to make that jump to sales. And I haven't looked back. A year and a half later. So
Congrats. Yeah. That's super sweet. I guess going into ODU, was ODU like your first choice?
Good question. Not really. I can't say that I really thought of any other college, though. It was between ODU and Virginia Tech. But then I had some issues with Tech. I applied incorrectly, which anyone that's going to apply to college, look into it further. But I applied to the Pamplin Business School. I did not get in, obviously. I'm like a freshman. I was like, oh well. So it kind of worked out where I didn't get immediately into Tech. And then ODU gave me a scholarship. And I just was like, yeah, I'd visit it there. It's by the beach. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's dope. Because I actually grew up like kind of near Richmond, like in Chester.
Yes.
Like near Thomasdale. And then I went to Prince George High School, so that's pretty cool. Like, small.
We've chatted about that.
Yeah, super small world. Yeah. So so you get accepted into ODU. Because I know whenever I started going to ODU, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't really know because obviously I was working like a little bit. I was doing like lifeguarding, restaurants, stuff like that. But like I had no idea what I wanted to do. So at what point did you kind of start leaning in that direction of like kind of marketing or knowing what you kind of wanted to do?
Okay, that's also a really good question. So when I went into college, I wanted to be a wedding planner. Very different than what I do now. But I just liked it because you're celebrating someone's like most exciting day. You're a big part of their life. And I liked coordinating everything. I loved it, and it's fast and it's quick paced, and it was something that I thought I wanted to do. Well, as I kind of talked to people who did that for a living, they were like telling me all the not so great parts about it. And I was like, maybe I don't want to do that. Well, then I decided, let me tell you this. So I do remember growing up when I was really, really young, probably, I don't know, I was like 5 or 6 maybe. I remember telling my parents that whatever I did for work, I wasn't going to wear a uniform. So I knew I wasn't going to be a firefighter and all that stuff, so I knew I always wanted to be in business and dress up for work. So, but once I decided wedding planning is maybe not for me, marketing kind of popped into the world. My uncle, who I credit a lot of my success to as well. He told me about what he did, and I was like, yes, that's me. But then when I got into that world, especially what I do for work, it's kind of like marketing is an internal function of the company, so you're not physically out there. It's more, how can we help the sales force, or how can we help people out there doing the things to be more efficient at their job or better or have that edge. And so I wanted to be that person out there, and I was like, I can't work in a cubicle all day.
Yeah.
So I went to college not knowing. I knew what realm, and I will say this, the only 101 class I had to take there was Business 101. And that's kind of where I just decided, okay, definitely not wedding planning, but something business. I sat in that class, and because all my other classes were 200, 300 level. And I sat in that class, and everything just clicked. Like I didn't even study, and that doesn't always happen, right? But it just clicked, and I was like, okay, well, business it is. And then I just felt my way out through my internship and working, and landed where I landed.
Oh, that's super dope. How did you even come across getting an internship? Because like I mean, when I was on the way here, I was talking to Dexter. He's a little bit younger than me, and he was just talking about the struggles of like just him and just like about acquiring an internship and stuff like that. I'm like, how I did it, I waited till like the very last minute before I graduated, and I just applied like on a whim. Like it was like, you know.
What did you apply on?
I don't.
Was it an online thing?
It was definitely an online
okay.
thing. Yeah, it was an online thing. So like I saw it was like, you know, social media person, and I was like, well, you know, I guess I can do that. So and then like I just not like applied, but like I liked it or did some, because it said that it was expiring on like June 16th. June 16th was like where it was like, all right, we're not accepting anybody. It was probably like July something. I was like, fuck it, we'll just see what happens.
Oh, is this like wait?
Yeah. So I was like,
okay.
we'll just try. So
yeah.
I did it, and then I got a phone call, and they were like, you know, immediately on the phone call, I'm talking to this one person named Haley. She was super dope. She was like the social media like manager person. So and then like talked with her, ended up going like really well, and I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm about to do, you know. So I was interning there, and then that's when I kind of realized like I like treated it like a little bit different than like an internship. Like I like treated it like I like really like I was just super eager to learn. Like I was like, you know, yeah, like I was like, because just because you're a social media person, you're not just doing social media stuff. You're doing social media stuff for a very small part, but like with every business, there's, you know, there's this segment of it, there's this segment of it, there's the sales force, there's marketing, there's reporters, there's people on air and stuff like that. So our job was to just go and just, you know, be with this person, be with this person, be with this person. So I would just interview everybody I was with. I was like, let me see what they like to do, let me see what they wanted to do, and then that kind of like pushed me to sales. Like every time I was talking to this person, they were like, oh, I just want to like capture the stories, I just want to do that. I'm like, that's not me, I don't want to be behind the camera.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. It was like I would appreciate it, but it was like that's not really what I wanted to do. So whenever I'm talking to salespeople, they're like, I love helping people, I love money, I love freedom, I love that. And I was like, okay, this is like more of my speed. So, and then like I said, 3 months later, I got hired. But
that's awesome. Wait, so you got hired from your internship, right?
Yeah.
Me too.
And you really like, but it makes a big deal whenever you actually are showing up and you like are showing that you want to be there and everything. So but yeah, how did you land your internship?
So I kind of just did it word of mouth. So my uncle had a lady on his marketing team that was going on maternity leave, so he needed some help. And I was like, well, based off what you told me, I love your job. I want to do it. And so he was like, well, let's see if we can even have you there, you know, because it's family. So, but he was like, yeah, I guess it works out. I need you to apply. So I applied, and I got it. And it was not what I was expecting. I learned so much, though, like so much. Because in college, you learn curriculum. And then your internship, that's where you learn to apply that. And or find out if you want to do that, right? Yeah. So that's how I kind of got involved with it, and then they asked me to stay, and I said, yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, it worked out.
That's sweet. Yeah, no, you touched on it briefly, but what is like the biggest thing that you learned from college, and then the biggest part that like what did college teach you the most, and then what did your intern teach you the most, and then ultimately job, but we'll get to that. But like
okay. So basically, can I take it one step back to high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so high school, the program I was in, it was so structured. I was also an athlete. I danced full time, which some people don't consider a sport, but you know, I was in the studio like 30 hours a week, so that's an athletic thing to me.
Bro.
Yeah, I know. And then I also worked, so I had all these things going on. I was so busy, but I thrive on being super structured and having a schedule. So, and in chaos. So high school taught me time management. So I go to college, I apply that time management. However, in college you have infinite freedom. There's nobody telling you be here, be here, be here, be here. So you have to build that for yourself. I also did dance in college, so I started going to the gym because I needed to do something. So college taught me that you have yourself and you are what makes your life great. So I kind of had to build that for myself and find out, you know, I had a fun time. I mean, we went to parties together, we had fun, but I got my shit done. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And then, did you want to touch on the job thing now?
No, you just keep going.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Okay, so the job thing, I would say, came from the internship. The internship kind of taught me, maybe I don't want to do this realm of things, but I like the business, I like the industry. The food world is so fun. I mean, I was telling you before this, it's corporate, but you're dealing with chefs and cooks and dishwashers, so it's nothing, you know, where you have to really filter yourself, which is good for me. So that internship taught me to apply what I know, but also, like you said earlier, to be a sponge. Every day I learned something new. My first year on the job, I can't even tell you, like, how much I learned every day. I would come home and, like, you know, reassess my day and kind of go through things I had learned, and I was like, I think I learned more here doing my job now than I did in college, because it's different.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So, what do you think? You're there learning it, you're doing it. It's different.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely different. Like, I know, like, for me at least, like, being in the internship, it's like you think that is, like, the extent of what, like, I guess the best way for me to explain it is, like, it's just being in a fraternity. Like, when you're a pledge or you're just, like, an intern, you're kind of, like, the same way. It's like, yeah. I'm showing you guys that I want to be here, but I don't really have to be here, but I'm choosing to be here. So whenever people are seeing that you're choosing to actively learn and seek more knowledge and learn more and stuff like that, then it's like, I mean, not a lot of people are doing that. I mean, not just nowadays, but just, like, in general. I feel like at every job that I work at is kind of like I'm always, like, one step above. Not necessarily a step above, but just, like, my way of thinking. Like, I can like kind of get away with what I want to do at a job because, like, I work very hard. I do well for the business. So whenever it's like, you know, hey, I'm just going to take this day off, or I'm going to ask for a day off, they're more likely to give me that day off as opposed to somebody who just shows up and is just, like, you know, fucking off in the corner or something on their phone and stuff like that. It's like, whenever I'm at work, you already know the type of work that's going to get done. Yeah. So whenever I got the job, it's like the job is just now starting. You know, it's not like, okay, perfect, I got the job, now I can just chill out and hang out. It's like, no, like, that's the hard part is like just being able to actually be like, okay, I'm in this role. How am I going to actually enjoy life, enjoy the work that I'm doing, but also by just, and just being happy. Yeah. That's very, very, it's a balance, you know, especially when you're doing something like what you're trying to, like what you're just trying to do. So that's a big thing. Just talk a little bit about, I know I'm going to just take it a little bit back a little bit, but like what is, I know that you mentioned your strong support system at home. What are some of the, you know, just key people that taught you the most? What are some, like, just things that you've learned the most that just kind of stuck with you? It can be a quote, it can be a book, a movie, it can be literally anything, or a person where you're like, anytime I think about this person brings me, like, you know, makes me try a little bit harder, if that makes sense.
Okay, I don't think I can give you one person, or two, or three, or four, or five. I feel like my whole family has given me this support system my whole life, where it feels like I have a whole army behind me, like backing me. If I want to go do something, I know 110% that they are going to support me, no matter what it is. Like, so I can't pinpoint one person, but I will say in my job now, someone that motivates me constantly, who gives me advice, who I go to, who I confide in. I mean, for my job, I drive all day. A lot of the time I'm driving. So I have 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the car where I feel like I need to be doing something productive. So I learn more. So I listen to a podcast, or I call my Nana and I call my Papa. Both of them. I call both sets, Nanas and Papas, on both sides. And I just ask them stuff about business. My one Papa, he's a very successful sales rep. I mean, even today I was talking to my Nana Callahan, my dad's mom, about this podcast today. And things that we both just find motivating and to provide us balance. So I have to say that in my life right now, that my grandma and grandpa on both sides have given me the most, applicable advice. But going back farther would probably just be all of my immediate family. I mean, my mom and her sisters, they're like total badasses. Mm-hmm. I see them as like who I want to be one day, because they don't take anything from anyone. They're very strong, they're very smart. My mom is like one of the smartest people I ever know, Mm-hmm. So that's who I credit it to, I think. And that's what stuck with me. Probably also, this is like a whole concept, but to provide balance, this is something that stuck with me is everybody wants to do mental health, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you do when you need to do mental health? What do you do?
I go to the beach and I just sit there. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever get yourself a sweet treat or something? Might be a girl thing.
Yeah, a sweet treat. I mean, a sweet treat. I've been having like little cravings here and there, but I just like cookies. But like that's not like, I don't associate my cookie eating with my mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to clear my brain, I hit the beach, I just sit there, listen to the waves, and let the answers come.
Okay. So I like that. So there's this whole concept of create or consume, and so me and my Nana were talking about today. It's what you do for your mental health. So what do you do to go feel better? Okay, for me, I'm a shopaholic. I love clothes. Mm-hmm. So I consume. So I go out and I'm buying clothes. And I've really tried to flip the switch on that, and tried to create more. So journal, draw, dance, do this, talk. Something that's going to better me, and it's more so an investment in myself. When you create, the lasting effect for that mental health, that burst of dopamine, whatever you want to call it, that's going to give you more than a $9 Starbucks coffee you treated yourself to. I'm not saying you don't have to do those things, but that's something that has stuck with me for sure. And that was always something talked about with mental health and balance.
So what do you think the most difficult adjustment was graduating school and not having a strict schedule? I mean, you kind of talked about it. Mm-hmm. Like we said, you learned about time management, everything in high school, and then in college, you have a schedule, but it's freedom.
Yes.
And then when you actually get into like the real world, it's like freedom.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah. So what is kind of just like a big adjustment that you've had to kind of adjust your life to be able to do what you do now?
Well, we're in sales, so we plan our day, right? We have the freedom to do that, which I love. But that was probably the biggest adjustment for me was, okay, I have all this time. I want to get X, Y, Z done. What's the most efficient way to go about doing that? And sometimes you don't get the most efficient thing, But the biggest thing that I've learned and that has helped me is that everybody else is still learning every day. And nobody's perfect, and we're all pretending that we are, and that's okay. And that's all you can do, right? Is just constantly try to evolve. So the biggest realization for me was that I'm not alone in that. I'm not alone in feeling like, okay, I need to, like speed up the treadmill. I feel like I'm behind. But really, I feel like we're doing pretty well.
We're right on time.
We could be doing worse, So I try to give myself some grace, but also give myself motivation in that balance again. Yeah.
No, balance is key, because you can easily go very, very far off at the workaholic spot, or you can go very, very far off on the not doing enough spot, and then it's just like a constant battle, because there's some days where it's like you just be sitting down or just chilling, you're like, bro, why am I just chilling here? Or like, why am I out? Or why am I doing this? And then it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like it's a conundrum.
It is a conundrum. I like that word, conundrum. Yeah. It is though, because do you watch motivational videos? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's this one guy, I forget who it is. It's not Goggins or anything.
Oh, that was exactly who popped in my brain. I was like,
but he says have 3 wins a day at least. a mental win, a physical win, and I think the other one was a emotional win or something like that. But so for me, the balance is, or what I tell myself my balance is, because it's different for everyone, is my physical win is a workout every day. My boyfriend and I, we go 5:30 in the morning. We try to every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time, right? So you have to go after work sometimes, but we do that. We do. I do a mental win. I'll journal. I'll read something for my brain, and then an emotional win is that mental health thing that I do for myself.
Yeah.
So that's what helps me, and it just works out that way. But it's really hard to find that balance.
It is.
And sometimes still, I feel like I'm out of balance, and that's okay. And I think right now is the time that we could be workaholics, because don't got no kids.
Nope.
I got a dog, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's like you have all the time right now. I feel like you're doing that. You're grinding. You need to applaud yourself.
Yeah.
You really are.
It's crazy. My broker, they always tell me, Devin, make sure you clap for yourself. Whenever
Yes.
it could be a little small thing or whatever the case may be, but it's like something that I'm just kind of overlooking, that I'm just thinking, oh, it's just that, or it's just that. Even it can be like a client where I'm thinking like, fuck, I should have had them closed, or I should have did this, and it's like, bro, Devin, in order for you to even have that fail, you've had to try to, you've had to actually do it. Like my thing was like, my first year doing this, I probably like my first 7 deals that I did, it was like just piece of cake. It was just super easy. And then the next like deals after that, I would have a deal, and it might fall apart, or somebody will pull out, and it just started making me think like, dude, why it feels like everything I'm doing is wrong, blah blah blah. But it's like I would have never even had the chance to fail if I never even was going up to bat. You know what I mean? So that's just something that I always got to think about. Like, not everything is always like, just because it doesn't go exactly how you thought it was going to go doesn't mean that it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
So it just made me think, what are some of the podcasts that you listen to?
Ooh, this is good. Actually, I was talking about this with my Nana as well today. Diary of a CEO.
Okay.
Do you love that? Have you seen that?
I haven't heard of that.
Oh my gosh. So he invites everyone from all walks of life. My Nana actually watches the full episodes. I am somewhat of a poser because I only watch the TikToks.
Yeah.
But it's like, if it's good, I'll go on there, But anyways, he's always got really good stuff. This is also kind of a nerdy thing, but when I have a really long drive for work, this is kind of embarrassing. I watch or I listen to National Geographic stuff.
Yeah,
because it's relaxing. I don't know, but I do a lot of that stuff. And then it's not really a podcast, but I do like Goggins for some stuff.
Yeah.
He's good for gym motivation and whatnot. You listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
This one, obviously.
Yeah. I listen to obviously my own shout out Pique Perspectives, but I also really love the Joe Rogan podcast. That is actually somebody who kind of made me really kind of ditch the traditional stuff where it's like, okay, I have my note cards of things where I'm just gonna be like, okay, so Cora, back in 20, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like the way I tried to structure a lot of my earlier podcasts, where it's I have to have a list of things to talk about. I have to talk about this, I have to talk about this. And then I found myself kind of it felt like I was reading off a script, when it's everything that I need is in here.
Yeah.
And everything that, anything my guest is going to talk about, they already have it. They know about their life, they know about the shit they went through, they know about things that motivate them. So then that's when I was like, I'm just going to sit here and just have a conversation. And it's bound to go, I just like learning. I just like learning about people, and I feel like everybody kind of has everybody has a whole entire story from whenever they were a little baby, from, different things motivate different people. Different people play a different role. So I just like learning about, and then that's why I wanted to have you on there too, because even when we were in school, I just always would just know, it's very easy to kind of get swayed by the crowds and stuff, especially in school. You don't really know who you are, really. You're trying to figure out everything. Yeah. And you were just somebody who was just you just did what you wanted to do. You were never in Greek life. You were never doing that. You were just always every time I saw you, it was just all right, she's doing her shit. You know what I mean? So that's why I was I wanted to get you on here and just, like I said, just really just learn. I just like to learn. I feel like it's super inspiring for people to learn from you and just know that, even though you can plan to be a wedding planner, you can plan to be what you want to be, but once real life happens and you start experiencing more and going through different challenges and going through different things, then that kind of just presents you the opportunity to be okay, this is where I want to go. Yeah. But you would have never know where you want to go if you didn't even show up to drive in the first place.
Yeah.
So Cora, you had mentioned reading. What books do you like to read? What do you read? Because I know, at least for me, I be struggling with trying to write down my thoughts and things that are in my brain because I mean I obviously know that that's super super important, but like even just when I've like what I thought the next day or what my plans are, because right now I'm learning a lot about getting my schedule and stuff right. So what do you like to read? How do you get in your own brain to like just be like, okay, I'm taking this time to just write and just focus on myself?
So I read for joy. Like I like to read a lot of fiction stuff. So by fiction I mean like I'm down the rabbit hole. I'm like there's dragons, there's wizards, there's like all this crazy fairy tale stuff. But it's cool because that helps me get out of my brain and it puts me in whatever world I'm reading about or whatnot. And I know it sounds really corny, but it works for me. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to disconnect from where you are in that moment and just kind of relax. I like to do it before bed. Ideally, I would do it every night before bed, but you know, when you're grinding, you get so tired. So it doesn't happen every night. Sometimes I'll go on the balcony on a Saturday or Sunday when I have time and read then. But I also have a couple books in my queue that are about the human brain, and there's one book titled Where Emotions Come From, and I forget which Dr. Wright wrote it, but she was on a podcast I was watching at the time, and she sold me on the book. I mean, I was like, yeah, I want to read that. So I read a mixture of things. It just kind of depends on where I'm at in my life at that time. And then how I find time for that, it's just normally when I need it. You feel it. When you're, you know, when you're unbalanced, that keeps coming back. When you're unbalanced, you know you need to do something, and so that's one of the things I choose to do.
So what, have you always been a reader?
Yes and no. I would say, like, you know, in school you never want to read when people are telling you to read.
Yeah.
But when I had AR points, did you ever have AR points?
We had the AR points.
Yes.
We got the brownie party if we hit our AR goal.
Yes.
Bro, I will never forget. I have one book that like I think I needed like a couple more points to like meet my AR goal, and I just took the quiz on like a book I never even read. It was a Goosebumps book. It was like the Sandman one, and I took it and got like a 30, and then I was just like, damn, that's crazy. I don't know why that just popped in my brain, but like I remember that like everybody was behind me like because we were like waiting on me to like pass that shit, and then I did it and I failed, and I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Wow.
But I think the point of that, there was actually no point of that. It was just
well, you could make a point of that.
Yeah. So, but
just jump in, just do it.
You already know. Hey, fuck it. If you fail, you fail. But like for real, like I just got back into reading probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Like I went into like a big break. Like I never really read, but my friend was like telling me about this book. It's called The Alchemist. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I've not read it.
So it's like a very basic, like 150-page book. It might be even a little bit more, a little bit less. But it's essentially about this one dude who he like dedicated his entire life to like find his personal legend. Like that's what it was called, like his personal legend. And he would just go like, I think he was like a jeweler, like, but he kept on having this dream that he needed to go to Egypt and like go to the pyramids, and he was like, why do I keep having this vision? So, and then he just was like, all right, I'm just gonna go do what I can do. So he went and he was like working as like a jeweler, then he was working for something else, then he met this one person, and then like pretty much the whole moral of the story was just like him just trying, like just embarking on this journey, finding himself, finding out what he really wanted to do. And it was just like this whole thing. So I read it and I was just like, holy crap, like I just didn't realize how powerful books are, and like how like if you read something, it can literally just shift your whole mindset on something. So I read that book, and then I just went on like just a huge just rabbit hole, like you were saying. But like I mainly like nonfiction books, like kind of like the like Where Do Emotions Come From, like How to Change Your Mind, like just things like that are like you know, Art of War. I could think of like a lot more, like Art of War. Can't really think.
Powers.
Yeah.
A common one.
Yeah, just basic books, but books that like just can give you like just knowledge. Like I just like knowledge. Do you like audiobooks?
Ooh, to me it's just like a podcast, and that's fine. But I'd rather physically read it. I also like a physical book. I can't do the whole Kindle or iPad thing. I don't know. It's something different about turning the page. You know, this sounds kind of stupid, but the smell of it makes you feel like, I'm being studious.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for sure. All right, so you don't have any siblings, do you? Or
I do.
You do.
I do. I have one younger sister. She looks nothing like me.
And how many years?
3.5. Yeah. She's in school she was always 4 years, but I mean, yeah, she's a beast. She's awesome.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? How do you feel being the older sister, or older sibling?
I feel like I came into the world to play that role.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, it's awesome. I look to her as like my little child sometimes, you know. But I love it. I would love to go through life before her and tell her everything I've learned. And I do that. And of course doesn't apply it, and she has to learn for herself, which I was the same way, but I like being an older sister. It gives you like a certain kind of pride and an expectation you have to hold yourself to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're the older brother.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I was about to say I have a younger sister, Kiera, which is 4 years difference, and then I have two other younger sisters. Like one, she's just turned 13, the other one just turned 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So a big span of like I don't know how the hell I just got to be the only boy, and here I am. But it's like cool because like I said, you always have somebody looking up to you. You always have like that just thing of like obviously you want to do good for yourself, but whenever you're just either the older sibling, it's like you just lead by example. Like
yes.
And then that's one thing that I've always just been learning. It's like you can't really tell people what to do, or you really can't tell people how they should do certain things, but the more that you just keep on listening to yourself and just doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, then everybody else will kind of see, and then that's when they kind of start living.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to go to my other topic. So there's this one, like, I don't know if it's like a book or if it's like a play or whatever the case may be, but it's called The Allegory of the Cave. And it's, you know about that?
Play-Doh.
Yeah. So that's literally like how I just view this entire life pretty much. Like,
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm just, because there's always like my friends, because like right now I'm in like kind of like it feels like a transitional period. Like, obviously like I've graduated, and then now it's like, I got a lot of my friends who either just graduated or have been graduated for a little bit, but I'm not doing the norm. I'm not doing just like a regular job. I'm not doing like, I'm kind of just like, I don't know, like a lot of my friends are doing the same thing or doing this, and then I'm just kind of like, that's cool, but I don't want to be doing what y'all are doing. I don't want to be doing, and then there's not really a lot of people like you, so you kind of start to feel like, damn, am I crazy in this? And then it's like, you're not crazy. You just gotta keep on sticking to the plan, keep on with the podcast, keep on doing all of that stuff, and then everything else will kind of just fall in, and then it's just gonna be a point wherever you're just like looking back and you're like, holy shit, I went very, very far. I went a lot further than I thought I was gonna go.
Yeah.
So.
But the part where you come back and you tell them.
Yes. Exactly.
I was waiting for you to get.
And then you go right, and then you have a lot more credibility, and people will listen a lot more, as opposed to like see it first, and you're like, dude, I just saw this crazy shit, and then it's like, okay, whatever. This is the best part of the film right here, and you're like, dude, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I don't want to get too damper, and if it's too bad, we can cut it out. But I know that a lot of my friends struggle with mental health, a lot more than I do, and that's kind of something I tell them. I'm like, I promise it gets better, because it just so happened that I graduated early, and so they're still doing their thing, and that can be hard when you see your friends move on. You're doing your thing, and we're not doing normal things.
Yeah.
So for them, it's hard, and I try to be an example, but without making it, something where I'm rubbing it in their face or whatnot. But I always tell them, like, it gets better. And I tell my sister that, my younger sister, that all the time. I'm like, it always gets better. There's always another level. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. So I definitely want to go touch a little bit more on like what your job is, what you do, what your roles are. And also I thought about this question, what makes you good at your job?
Ooh.
Like, what skills do you have that you think makes you excel at your job?
I wouldn't know or call myself really good at my job. I'm constantly evolving. I'm not bad. I'll give myself that. But I'm in sales. So I sell food to restaurants, to hotels, to pretty much anywhere that there's some form of food service. So 3 things I would say are what I know I have. Personability. I love to talk. So I could do that all day, and that's what I do all day. So personability is definitely one of them. I think second is grit, I guess. Like, I know I'm gonna F up, right? Like, that's gonna happen. We're all human, and we're learning. But I know that no matter how bad I mess up, I can always turn it around. I can always do something, and I will not let that pull me down for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, whatnot. And then the third one is probably, kind of goes in hand with grit, is that I'm always going to learn. I never want to stop learning. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And so I think those three things are what make me adequate at my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it helps. It helps.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have all of those qualities.
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely takes a special type of person.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely takes, like you were just saying, like definitely personable skills. I feel like if you know how to articulate what's in your brain and what you can do for somebody or just a job or whatever the case may be, like I honest to God, I feel like I can get hired by any job like around here, like if I actually wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was like, okay, like if I had a chance to interview with somebody and like actually just like let them know like, hey, I can do this for your company, like I know what I can do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, I just think that's super important to kind of just know what you can do as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, like whenever you're first graduating or first coming up, you don't really know exactly what you can do. You don't really know what skills you have.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just, you just keep on doing what you've been doing. And then like before you know it, you're at a job. And then like, I don't know, I think I just peeped it a lot earlier than I thought I was. Like I kind of was envisioning myself being at a company, like, just being there for a long time, like doing that. And then like you realize like how fast that kind of moves. Like I was only at Wavy for like 7 months, but it felt like I was there for like 3 years. Like I was like, dude, like what the world? Like I'm waking up. I mean, I'm sure if you're in sales, you know this, especially like if you live it, like you live it, like you're driving, damn, I could call on those people right over there. Or damn, that's a new business right there. I could be doing that. And then like, it's very hard to turn that off,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where you are. So when I was doing that, I was just like, damn, like I'd rather be worrying about something that I actually like really, really like, that's mine, or like I really, really care about. So that's why I started doing real estate. Like that's why, like my sister was trying to get her license. And I was like, damn, let me see if I can do that. So, and then I was like, started getting my license, and then like I ended up passing like 3 months later. And then that's when 2 or 3 days after I signed up for classes, my current brokers, shout out Crystal, shout out Rachel, they came into my job, and I was just waiting on them, and they were like, Devin, have you ever thought about doing real estate? You would be a very, very good agent. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I just signed up for classes. So that was like a little bit of like reaffirmation of like, okay, I'm on the right path. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, no, it's crazy how the universe is going to keep on pointing you in the right direction regardless of, and I always just refer to the universe because everybody has different like views on just like how like everything, like, you know what I mean? Like I believe in everything. I believe in everything. I believe in this. I believe in that. Because, I mean, I guess I could kind of talk about that. Like, whenever I was younger, I started listening to like this one thing. It's called Kymatica, and it was like this YouTube thing. It was like an hour and a half long, but it like went from like the very beginning of humanity, from like just people, and then religion, and then like it just like went down this whole as just everything about humans.
In a video or?
Yeah, in like a video. Yeah, it was like an hour and a half, and I watched it like when I was 17, 18. So at first I was always like, I don't really know if I believe in like any certain type of religion, because I was just pretty I guess I just didn't have a lot of knowledge on it at all and everything.
You weren't raised in any religion?
I was. So I was raised like just Christian. Like I would always go to church. It would be like me, my sister, and then my grandma, my nanny. We would always go to church, stuff like that. But it was always just like, it just made sense to go. And then as you get older, you're kind of just like, I don't even really know what I believe, So, and then like I just didn't really know what to believe. So, and then I watched this video, and it just made me just look at every single type of religion differently. Like it was like, they're all essentially based on the same premise of like, either one person or like a universal thing. So in my brain, I was just like, there's no way that every single one of these is wrong, or there's no way that every single one, or that one of these everything is right. So I was just like, I just really just started believing like everything is based on like this one thing, and it's just the universe. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it God. You can call it Allah. You can call it whatever the case may be. But I know I don't know if it's a living thing, but I know it's something there, because this life feels so real that it feels fake at sometimes. I know. Like it's like staged almost. You know what I mean? Like how the fuck, like. So like just I don't know. I guess I just kind of want to know some of the just crazy things that you believe in, or some of the like,
how crazy are we getting?
like conspiracy, or just like some where you're like just look like, you know what I mean? Like, what are just some of the things where like you say it too loud in public and people are gonna be like, Cora, what the hell you just say? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, can I give a little backstory on me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was raised Roman Catholic. I had my first communion. I did all of that. I was not confirmed. That's kind of around the time, 15 or 16, when you decide, do you want to be a part of the church or not? And I just kind of took a step back because kind of I had the same experience as you, a little different. In school, I was learning about the other religions, and I was like, okay, well, these are basically all the same thing. They're literally all the same thing. Take everything away from it, just bare bones, they're all the same. And I just kind of was like, okay, well, some of the rules that they had were a little silly to me, and this is like stuff that people like way a long time ago said, wrote it down, and were like, here, and now it's been interpreted millions of times. And to me, it's like, how long can you play telephone until you completely lose what we were talking about? Yeah. So it kind of just, for me, was like, not for me. So I think for me, it's more so, I believe 100,000,000% in manifestation. And what you think, like the power of your mind is so, so crazy. So I've always envisioned myself being successful, and it's changed over the years. But I truly, truly believe in manifestation. There's been times in life where things are so perfect that doesn't feel real, and it's always like, I get deja vu all the time. Do you get deja vu a lot? Okay. I get deja vu constantly, and I'm like, okay, or, this is gonna sound crazy, I'll have a dream, and then months later, something will happen, I'll be like, oh my god, I literally dreamed this. You're wearing the red shirt that I saw in my dream, I'm wearing what I was wearing, you know, like, I also have very vivid dreams. But I definitely believe in manifestation. I believe it's a real thing. And this could be cool. CIA released the files, this was like 4 or 5 years ago or something, about telepathy. And I'm like, maybe there's like a, what's the word for that? Like a different...
I'm just saying like another level, another like wavelength, another like...
enlightenment that you and I could reach, that it's like, okay, I can communicate with my mind. I believe that could happen. I definitely believe that can happen. Like, what's the percentage that we use of our brain?
Very, very little.
Silly,
right?
It's
very, very little, Have
you seen the movie Lucy? Okay, I literally think about that movie every day. I'm like, man, if I had 100% of my brain right now, like, I could just morph into, like, matter itself. But, you know? I think that telepathy is a thing. Like, you know, I don't know. That's kind of crazy thing to say, but...
I definitely believe in telepathy because I've had it happen before.
What? Okay, say.
Oh, shit. All right. So, whenever I was at ODU, I think it was like my freshman year, and one of my boys that I went to high school with, and then people in my dorm room, we were like, hey, like, let's try LSD. And I was like, okay, perfect. So... One time in particular, I took LSD with my homie, and then I had one of my other roommates, like...
This is just gonna be so good.
Oh yeah, so one of my other roommates was like, all right, I'm just gonna like watch y'all. So whole time's just going normal. I think we ended up walking to Whitehurst Beach, and we were just chilling, we were just smoking, and whenever I was smoking, that's when everything kind of just, it felt like I entered a fucking time warp dimension, bro.
Okay,
like, it was like, everything just happened at once, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck just happened? So, you know, just fast forward, like everything is just chilling, and then we go back to my dorm room, and then I'm skipping like a lot of the stuff because a lot of stuff, it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? But like skipping to the point of telepathy. So I get to my dorm room, I'm there with my homie, we're just like chilling, and we're watching my friend play like the game, and he never looked back at us, and he really wasn't even my friend, he was just like my roommate. So he's just sitting there playing the game, and I'm just like looking at him like, dude, this has to be like how the universe works. It's like everything is already like happening, but he's not looking around to make sure this person's in the right spot. He's just operating, and I was just sitting there just like, holy shit. So I think my friend ended up leaving, and we're like texting each other, but we're not texting each other like full words or like sentences. We're just like I'm like having, like, he's walking home, and I'm having a fucking conversation with this man while he's not even in my fucking dorm. And I'm not making this up because I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like laying there, like I'll just be like thinking of some shit I like texting, and he's like, yeah, bro, shit crazy. And I'm like, bro, how the And then like he's like, yeah, bro. Like we're just having like a whole back and forth conversation like in my brain and in his brain. I know because like I went back the next day and was looking at the messages. I'm like, dude, it just looks like a bunch of cryptic shit. Yeah. So yeah, no. So like moral of the story, I definitely believe in telepathy. I definitely think that there's what's actually happening in real time, and then there's my point of view, and then there's your point of view, and then there's like the real thing. Because you know, I mean, even in like,
is there even a real thing though? Because everything's perspective.
Yeah, and that's the thing, You know what I'm saying? Because there's, you know, like, you know, for instance, if people are in a relationship and then they break up, you're gonna hear this person's point of view and then this person's point of view, and then there's like, okay, so me from, you know what I'm saying? So
that's a good way to.
Yeah, there's always like the 3 levels. So I think I'm gonna talk about some movies now because I like movies, and that's kind of like how I like. So there's like, what are some of your movies that you watched and that kind of like changed your like perspective on
Lucy?
Okay.
That was a huge one. Lucy, I will watch that movie again, and it's just one of the craziest things. Lucy, everything else I watch is kind of fiction. So.
Yeah. Have you ever? I mean, obviously, have you seen The Matrix?
Yes. Okay. Fair.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That's the plug-in, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. And trench coats. Yeah.
Have you seen They Live?
No.
So that is a older movie. It's by John Carpenter, and it was probably like in the 80s, I think. And it's pretty much like, I'm just gonna break it down real quick. Dude finds a pair of sunglasses. He puts the sunglasses on and he starts seeing like real life. Like, so he's looking at signs like all around, and it's like consume.
I've seen snippets of it on TikTok.
Yeah. So that's exactly what like, and then he spends the whole movie trying to like tell everybody about, hey, like the money, it's like, this is your God. He's like looking at like a corporate person. He looks like an alien. He's like, dude, what the hell? So he's like trying to tell his friend, like, dude, like, you need to wear these glasses. And the dude's like, man, you're bullshit. But pretty much those types of movies are movies that like I actually love because they're like every single movie, like there's only so many messages that you can like relay from a movie, if that makes sense. So like it's like, all right, this is like the principle, like Matrix, you know exactly what they're trying to say. And then in that movie, they're like all trying to say the same thing, but in different like fonts, in different like scenes and different stuff like that. So there was like, like, you know, They Live in, I don't know if you saw like Leave the World Behind.
Yes, holy crap.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That's a different message, though.
Yeah, a different message, but kind of...
Same tree, different branch.
Same tree, different branch, but listen, so you remember that one part wherever, like, so the mom, she had, like, a idea of, like, what was actually happening. And then the dude, like, the husband was kind of just, like, oblivious to everything. And then, like, the kids, they already knew, like, but they didn't know they knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just knew. And then, like, I think like where I'm going at with that is like that's kind of how like They Lived is. It's like you have people living in the gray area, which they don't know any better. They're kind of just operating, and then you have the people who are bad, which they're trying to get everybody to listen and follow their lead. And then you have good people. Good people are trying to get people to listen and follow their lead.
Because they're the same.
Yeah, they're one and the same. You know, you have the corporate people who are like, I'm just trying to get all these workers and work for me. And then these people are like, they're not bad down here just because they're following somebody bad. They don't know any better.
Right.
So that's kind of how I look at life. There's good, there's gray area, and then there's bad.
That's interesting.
Evil. Yeah, like that's evil, or not bad and evil, but bad, evil are the same thing. Yeah, so that's kind of like how I just like to look at life. Like I have a feeling that certain people are on here to do certain things. Like, I mean, at least like for me, like that's kind of how I feel. I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm on here for a much bigger purpose than what I originally thought, if that makes sense.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
I somewhat do.
In a way?
Yes, in a way, because it doesn't feel like this is like my first time on this place, if that makes sense.
But if you take it to a science level, like energy cannot be created or destroyed. Well, I guess, can it be created?
No.
No, what's the law?
Yeah, it can't be. Energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So energy exists. So me and you, we're energy. She's energy. Okay. So like we pass on, where does this go? Right? But obviously the population is growing. So you can't say that I just die and then I'm back as a dog, right? Or another person or whatever. Because it doesn't make sense. There's like 2,000 people being born every minute or whatever it is. So I feel like the energy is split, rearranged, and thrown out there. And so when you have a deja vu moment, it's because you're reliving or seeing something you saw in the future, or you're exactly where you're supposed to be in that minute. Because I don't believe it's 100% predestined, but maybe that's where your suggested lifeline is supposed to go or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I was a dog in a past life.
For real?
Yes.
What kind of dog?
I don't know what kind of dog. I don't know. But it's like, I just feel like sometimes I'm always, well, this is kind of corny as well. I'm always chasing gratification from exterior things, and maybe that's not what a dog is. I don't know. I feel like I
feel like that's right. All right, so that leads to like my next couple of questions. So if I'm like, okay, Cora, what type of animal do you resonate with the most? You would say a dog. Or is that what you're gonna say?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dog. Oh my gosh. Wait, we can't move on until you say what you would have been.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get. Oh wait, you're talking about animals?
You're gonna get there?
You're talking about animals?
Yes, and then I want you to touch on the. You're gonna get there.
About what?
If you were an animal in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I can't be the only one having that moment.
No.
Okay.
Because there's a method to this madness.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you 3 different questions. But first one, what type of animal immediately hits your brain when I ask you, Cora, what type of animal are you?
Horse.
A horse? A horse? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Because I was always growing up, I was like somewhat of a horse girl. Oh my god. But I loved them. I think there was something so gracious but wild and free about them. They're beautiful creatures. They're so strong. And they weren't from here. And they came over here and they just thrived. I don't know.
Okay. Second animal.
I wasn't expecting that. Dog.
Okay, dog.
Dog, probably.
All right. Third one.
Oh my gosh, another animal?
Yeah.
Probably like, those white heron things that we have around here?
I think so.
The birds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're the white
ones.
Not
a crane? Not a swan?
I think it's some kind of crane.
Okay.
This is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm just gonna act like I know what animal this is.
Okay.
All right. So I forgot the main point. So I think like the first animal is how you view yourself. The second animal is how people view you. And the third animal is exactly what you are. Like what you
I'm a heron.
I think you're a heron. Yeah. So that's like so I got like a tattoo probably like a couple months ago, and I did like a tarot reading. So I'm doing a tarot reading, and it was just like, and then she ended up asking me like the 3 questions, and I was like, and I told her, and they all made sense. I think I had said like a panda bear is my first one. A second one I think is like a turtle. And then it's either my second one was a turtle or my third one was a turtle. And then my third one was like, I think a killer whale, or the second one was a killer whale. It was
These are such crazy creatures.
Oh yeah. All right, so panda is pretty much because I'm black and white, and like I just love pandas too. Like I just really love pandas. Like they're just there, just fucking eating bamboo and shit. They're not really caring about whatever. And then turtle, I don't know. I just like turtles too. Like they're just some shit happened and they just hit the go in the shell. And then the third one, killer whale, I think I just chose that because they're like the top of the food chain, like in the water, and like that's kind of how I was like, I don't know, if I'm gonna be an animal, I want to be like top dog animal.
Why not a shark?
Yeah, or a shark. I don't know, why not a shark? Because they're just a little bit too vicious.
Right?
Like
they're evil.
Yeah, they're evil. They're not. But like you know what I mean? Yeah, like killer whales, I kind of want to do that. So yeah, I think that. But like, and I think bouncing from that, like when you're talking about like past life, I think like everybody gets reincarnated into something that they are supposed to learn in order for them to make it to that next thing. Kind of like Brother Bear almost.
Oh my gosh, that's literally one of my favorite movies growing up.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I love the name Coda. Anyways.
Yeah. Brother Bear, just like where you don't really know, like, for instance, you're just like, let's say you're super stubborn, so they make you like something like another animal or something else to kind of show you another side of what that may be. So, and it doesn't have to be another animal. It could be a whole nother life experience. It can be like an actual other human, like, maybe in a past life you were like an American Indian, and then like you like understood land. So then this next one you're gonna be like something else, and then you're just, because that's what it always feels like. It's like, why do I feel like I need to do this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't this person feel like they need to do this? Why do I feel like I don't even want to say like chosen, but like it feels like I have a much greater like sense of responsibility for not just me, but people around me, for my sisters, my mom, other people. Like I feel like I can really, like, I don't know, it's like a weird feeling that I have. Like,
it's good that you get to feel that though. A lot of people can't find any of that. That's good.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, it's like I mean, like you're saying, it's just constant because you like you know where you're gonna be, and then you know where where you it's like you know eventually where you're gonna be. It's gonna be like here, but then it's the constant thing of like climbing the mountain, and then like I be forgetting to look down sometimes and be like, holy shit, I've moved a long way, but and then also I gotta keep on going, but then I also be looking up like, holy shit, there's still so far for this to go, and there's really no way to expedite all of that because it's all going to happen in due time, and you just got to keep on doing what you're doing, just keep on laying the groundwork, and then before you know it, you look back and like, holy shit, like what did I create? And then it's a whole, because that's what life is, it's just about experience, and a lot of people are scared to experience. A lot of people are kind of just like yeah, they just don't, they're scared to experience because what if the experience is bad, or what if it's something that, but it's like that's kind of life. What the whole life thing is about. So what are, I mean, this is kind of like off topic, but I remember that we were talking about it like earlier, and then have you done public speaking? Have you done like, what are some of the things that, because it's not easy to be in front of camera, it's not easy to, let everybody kind of know what's in your brain and stuff like that. So like, how did you just get more comfortable with just being who you are and, being on camera?
Well, I think first off, dancing for 15 years and you're on a stage with lights shining in your face, you gotta perform, right? So I think that kind of eliminated most of the fear that most people have getting up in front of a crowd. I also have always just been so extroverted. My family told me growing up, like, don't care what anybody thinks. I still struggle with that. But dancing definitely helped me get over that because you're out there and you're doing your thing and you gotta show everybody what you came here to do. And then, yes, I have done public speaking. I did it in college as a class. It's required. I really liked that class. But then I also have spoke at the alumni symposium for that program I was talking about earlier. I just did that this past May, I think. And going back there was awesome because even in college, I would sit there and I would watch a professor profess. And I would count how many times they said and I would always be like, all right, I'm going to try to be better about that, or whatnot. And I also did acting and modeling a little bit, so being in front of camera that way helped me a little bit as well too, because it kind of just let you be yourself and be like, all right, well, this is me. So yeah. Okay,
so what advice do you have for people that I guess are a little bit younger, trying to figure out everything, or maybe I'll ask this: what advice would you give yourself, like I'd say like little baby Cora? What advice would you give her without foreshadowing too much of what's going to happen?
Oh gosh. I feel like little Cora, sometimes I feel like she knew more than I know now. When you're a kid, it's different. I would probably tell her, choose your friends wisely, because that kind of hurts sometimes in life. I feel like everybody goes through that at some point. And try not to please everyone, because everybody gets bullied, everybody does something they regret, but it's like, why did you do that? Were you trying to impress someone? Were you trying to seek gratification or fit in somewhere? And I wish I knew that for sure. Little Cora. Little baby Cora.
All right. What does the next 5 years look like for you? Like in your brain, like whenever you're manifesting, whenever you're journaling, whenever, like, what does the?
Well, I can tell you. No.
Yeah. So like, what do you see yourself doing in the next, however many years? What do you want to accomplish before, you hit 30?
Before I hit 30? Ooh, all right, definitely gotta have a house. We're on track. I'm gonna get a house.
And I'm gonna be your agent.
Okay, yes, you can be your agent.
Yeah, you already know.
That's actually perfect. Definitely a house. Definitely engaged at least. Settled down in that way. Pretty much, I'm already like, I feel like I'm domesticated. I used to be crazy in college, and I feel like, anyways. So maybe a ring, a house, very successful at work, more successful than I am now. And then I'd really love to feel like I'm not constantly worried about my job. I always am worried that I'm not doing good enough, or I'm like gonna get fired for some reason, and I don't know why. But all the older reps have told me like that'll go away. At a certain point you feel good about your job and you're doing the best you can do. So a little bit of that, and maybe another dog.
Another dog.
Nothing really work related except for one thing, but.
Okay, so if you could go anywhere at this very moment, where would you want to go? Like, what are some top dream spots that you want to go to? Do you want to live in Virginia forever? Do you want to travel? Do you want to kind of what? Yeah.
Before I met Jacob, my boyfriend, I wanted to go live abroad and like just move and just go do something totally different. But if I could go anywhere right now, I'd probably be Italy or Greece or Bali or maybe Sweden or something like that. Something cool that like is totally different than anything around here or that I've been to see. And then what was the second part of the question?
Do you want to live in Virginia?
Do I want to live here? Okay, so you're in sales. So you build your book. And so it's like you're investing here, you're putting down roots here. And yes and no, I want to stay here and I want to leave because yes, I've lived in Virginia my whole life and I'm ready to go explore and do something different. But the roots I'm laying here, I'm loving. And I don't see myself moving. And then looking way far down the line, you know, when you bring kids into things, I would like to be a mom one day. So when you bring kids into things, it's like, well, I need to be by my family. I was raised around my family, and I feel like that's what made me the person I am. We touched on that earlier, and I was like, I need to have my family near me. So I don't know quite yet. I'm just going with it, and I'm just going to see what happens.
No, that's dope. That's dope. What is something that's cool about you that many people do not know about you?
I feel like I'm a nerd. I'm definitely dorky. Yeah. I got some embarrassing. Well, we already touched on a lot of things. Thought I was a dog. Oh my god.
It's the dog.
I used to love comic books. I like the Marvel movies. Anything fantasy, show, book, I'm reading it. I know a lot of dorky things, and I enjoy being a nerd sometimes. It got me where I am today, you know. I don't know, I feel like that's something people don't know.
So,
Spencer?
One thing that I did notice, you never mentioned, like, doing your own business. If you were to do your own business, what would that look like for you?
I have a plan. And I'm gonna, stomp on my own toe for, but when the opportunity comes, and I know people say just seize the day, just do it, but I'm not ready yet, and I know that about myself, but I have a plan. One day I would love to have my own business, and I have an idea of what that looks like, hence my journaling, hence my visualization, my manifesting, but not right now, not yet.
Yeah.
I'm still learning, and I need to know more before I dive into that.
Yeah, no, hell yeah. So is there anything else that you would, either like to talk about, or is there anything you want the people to know? Is there any just words of wisdom, anything?
Lasting thing I would say is find yourself, or try to find yourself saying yes to more things. Like opportunities are endless, but only if you allow them to happen. You kind of touched on that earlier, where it's like if you didn't start, you would have never known. Well, you took the opportunity, you did it, you said yes. So allow yourself to do that, even if, and you said this earlier, even if you fail, because you learn something when you fail. And if you're anything like us, you don't want to fail again, so you don't, right? Or if you do, then whoopsies.
Yeah, we'll get back up on there.
Yeah.
We'll try again. Well, thank you, Cora. I really do appreciate you for making time coming out here, and looking forward to doing it again. And it's been another episode of the Pique Perspectives podcast, episode 8 with Cora.